Just a pilot in his cockpit seated. Black leather on his ass, keep a hustler heated.
Alright everybody, David here. I got some interior lights this time. So I got these are made by Yorkim, which is the same company that most of the other lights I got were for, like the C lights and the license plate lights. So do a quick unboxing of them. These were $9.99 on Amazon, of course. I looked up quite a few reviews, and I actually spent a couple days looking at interior lights to try to figure out which were going to be the best. And this is the best I could come up with for the lowest price. So they look pretty good. They're a lot bigger than I expected them to be. So in the picture, it kind of made them look small, but these are rather large. As usual, I'll have a link in the description. Let's crack these open real quick, just to get a little bit better of a look of them. One of the big things that I liked about these is they have a heatsink on them. There's many that don't, and as a matter of fact, I have some LEDs that I put in my wife's car probably 2 years ago now, and some of them aren't as bright as they used to be, like they're barely bright at all, and like one of them doesn't work. And those were the older style that didn't have these massive heat sinks. So I think one of the keys to these things being reliable is ensuring that they have good heat dissipation. So these big heat sinks, I'm not sure if you can tell, it might make them harder to install, so I'm not even 100% sure these will fit, but I think they'll have adequate brightness and they'll hopefully last a while. So I'm going to throw them in the car now. But these are the factory lights, and there's that rear factory light that just turned off. Open the door. So this one I think is going to be where it can really benefit from having a LED, because the rear one is not very bright at all. But these two aren't great. And I know a lot of people replace this vanity light, but I just don't want to go through the trouble. I don't really use that often enough to even care. Okay, so one of the things I want to note is since these are normal incandescent lights, make sure they're off for a while before you replace them, because they're going to be really hot. So just going to show there's two little notches, one on each side, and this is the base model car. It's going to be different on the WRXs with the sunroof. So I don't have a sunroof, so it's a little bit different here. But they use the same bulbs. I think just the process to replace them is going to be different. So one of the good things about this car is it has nice notches where you can easily just pry these things out with the screwdriver. There's a lot of cars that it's more difficult and you end up kind of messing everything up to get this out. So I just pried them both back a little bit, and I'm just going to use my hand to do the rest. So there we go, and I'm just going to turn it on to try to give a better comparison of the difference in light. There's the factory ones. I'm going to start by taking this bulb out. Okay, it just pulls right out, no big deal. There's the factory. There's them side by side. As you can see, the factory bulb is quite a bit smaller. And I'm not sure if these have a difference in polarity. I want to say they don't, remembering from what they said on the ad. But they just click right in there. And one thing to keep in mind is these are they're a little bit wider than the factory ones. So you're going to have to pry these little, so we can get a better shot of it. But there's these little bars that these hook into, and you're just gonna have to pry them back a little bit just to give it a little bit more clearance. It's not gonna hurt anything. You could just put them back if you were to put a stock style bulb again. Hopefully these will last a crazy long time, so that there will never be a need for that. But they're rated at like 50,000 hours, but we know that's not always an exact science with anything. Okay, got it in. Let's see if it lights up, and boom, there it does. So here I'll be able to give a better comparison of the difference in brightness. There's definitely a big difference in the light temperature. I'm just gonna sit this over to kind of give a better side by side. So there with the cap on, you can just see that the brightness, I mean, they are brighter, but it's not night and day or anything. I mean, it's better, but the biggest thing is just going to be the temperature of the light, which is the blue just looks a lot better. So there's that. Gonna turn this one off. Hopefully it's not burning me. Ooh, yeah, that's hot. Gonna give that a second. But just push back the little clips that are there. Just push them back on each side. From what I understand, these are 31 millimeter. The replacements are 31, and the factory ones are 28. So they will work, but they just requires a little bit of prying. And basically, all the replacement ones are 31. So that's not gonna matter. Even the ones you'll get from Sylvania, you'd have to do this with. Okay, got them both in. Just going to show you how they look without the cover on. And I will say they are a little bit brighter. I mean, I can notice it a little bit more with both on now. The temperature just looks a lot better. So this is a excellent, quick, cheap little upgrade you can do to the car to just give it a little bit more of a premium feel. So now we're going to do the rear. My understanding on this rear is that the easiest way to do it is to just pry with your hand. Because if you use a tool, you'll risk bending stuff up. So let me try that. Yep, so so this one is just going to be a single bulb. Same deal though, exact same way of replacing it. So the kit does come with 3 bulbs, which will leave you with one left over, which can be a spare. I don't think anywhere else in the car takes these, so you can just keep it as a spare in case any of them go out or lose their brightness. And what I'm going to do is just put the factory bulbs in the package and then throw it somewhere in a glove box or something. So there you go, that's what you'll be left with. Okay, so replacing this rear one is just as easy as the other two. Okay, there we go. Oops. Alrighty. And that looks beautiful. And again, to put this housing back on, or to take it off, just pry it with your hands. Just use 2 hands and then pry it from the this side, from the side not with the switch. And it comes right off. You don't have to worry about damaging the car or anything with the screwdriver. So that's it. That looks nice. I'd say the brightness is a little bit better than it was. And definitely the color temperature helps. So that looks pretty good. And then these two, they look good as well. So nice little upgrade. I would recommend doing this to anybody.